Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, this is an article from zerohedge.com. All right, and this was published today, June 15th, 2021. All right, and it says, we won't sit back. NATO's new counter-China focus met with fierce warning from Beijing. And what we're seeing is, with this G7, meeting, summit, whatever you want to call it, you have the beast, all right, assembling, which it's already assembled, but, they're, these kings, all right, of these nations, all right, that make up the beast are, coming together, having these talks and these meetings, solidifying, all right, that structure. Why? Because the beast, all right, is getting ready to really show forth, all right, its ultimate beast-like nature, and so don't be surprised if things start to move, fast. And by things, I mean infrastructure, policies, currencies, and events, all right, start to occur to speed this up, because they understand that, look, there's an agenda, all right, that they have to try to implement, okay, and that agenda is what the beast, okay, is going to implement. So, of course, they have to come together and talk. All right, so how are we going to do this, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of information that we will hear, but then there's also a lot of behind the scenes, behind closed doors information that we won't hear. All right, there's secret councils and all of that. Okay, even going into Micah 2:1. All right, and I believe Psalm 64 as well. Okay, so here you have this, and I'm not gonna really read the whole article, just looking through certain parts. All right, but you have these NATO, all right, and EU nations. And then you have the exclusion of, Russia and China and, the rest of these other nations. Now, what you have going on is a coalition, it would seem, against some of these other nations, but on the other hand, all right, the Lord is using that to set up these things. All right, because you have on one end, the advancement of technology, all right, and the advancement of technology in terms of currency, in terms of pushing that mark, okay, and then on the other hand, at the same time, you have events moving slowly but surely, all right, towards the setting up or the preparation of that World War III, because these prophecies, are two of the last major prophecies that will take place, all right, before the return of Yahushai, to basically close the books, concerning, really America. All right, and Esau's power structure. All right, before, as it says in Daniel the 2nd chapter, before that stone, comes and smites the image upon its feet. All right, that the mark needs to be implemented. Okay, and you're gonna have World War III pop off. And I mean going nuclear. Now you have Iran, that I believe they said they're about 60%, pure uranium. Okay, and there's this, talks about, U.S. and Iran trying to talk, because there's no nuclear deal now, but they're trying to set one up. But we understand, according to prophecy, that's not going to take place. However, with this G7 meeting, which 7 meaning completion, okay, we're at the time when these prophecies are all about to be completed. Now, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Now, you have these nations, and these kings of these nations, right? You have Russia, China, Iran, India. You also have European nations, so NATO nations, US, all of that, which the head or the leaders, all right, for the most part of these nations are heathens. They're not Israelites. Now you have Israelites living in the different countries, but it's ran by heathens, right? So they're the ones that are gonna really go to this war. All right, if Russia was to go to war, which they will, with the U.S., Them preparing for war, that's not us. It's not Israel. We don't have a military. We don't have all of that. Okay. It says, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So that's what we're seeing happening. Okay. And I'm going to hit Revelation 13 as well, but we're at that time of Revelation 13 and 16, 17 and 18. So there's a reason they're all coming together. They're moving, man. All right. Because just recently the EU unveiled that digital, the digital ID wallet, so on and so forth. And they're going to start pushing towards that as you have other countries shifting more and more towards cryptocurrency, and accepting it as legal tender. I believe that's the phrase or the term, but people are shifting away from the old fashioned way of doing things. But that's according to prophecy. And once that central bank digital currency becomes established, as a norm, the old way of purchasing things and doing things is going to disappear very quickly, which can be done through just time, but it can be sped up through events that occur. All right, because if you introduce something new, and to try and replace the old way of doing things, eventually over time it will, right? As more people start to abandon the old way and go towards the new. But if you don't have that much time, you can speed up the time by having an event occur that can get rid of the old currency or show people why you need the new method even more. And that speeds up sort of the destruction of the old way. All right, if that makes sense. So it says here, verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Now, your plowshares and pruning hooks, these are agricultural instruments, right? Agricultural tools. All right. And you would use this, break up the ground, plant the seeds, so on and so forth. All right. Now it says here, beat it into swords. So in a time of peace, okay, you invest in, things like that, the plowshares and the pruning hooks and so on and so forth, because, you're farming and, so on, your husbandry and all of that. Right. Now, in a time of war, okay, you're not going to be investing in those things. You're going to be investing in what? In weapons. For war. A sword is used for war. A plowshare is used for farming. Right? So it's saying here that beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, meaning get ready for war. And that's what you're seeing. A lot of these nations are purchasing nuclear defense systems, purchasing nuclear weapons, inventing or making or increasing their production, all right, of these different weapons, these war weapons. Okay, let the weak say I am strong, because see, you have a certain nation that can be considered weak because of the size, all right, or how small its military may be, or it may not be as big as maybe the US. But if that nation has nuclear capability, it can still do just as much damage, all right, with a nuclear missile. Okay. And so with these nations having their hands, whether they're small or big, when they have their hands on these weapons, all right, these weapons, all right, it's an inside joke. But when they have their hands on this, they can say that they're strong because they can do that damage. Okay. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. All right. So the Lord is going to, pursuant to Zephaniah 3 and 8, he's going to gather these heathens. Well, verse 12 here also says it. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, which in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, meaning the Lord's judgment or Yahweh's judgment, because that's where he's going to judge or quote unquote plead. All right, with these nations for his people Israel. And the word plead not meaning to beg, but to judge. Okay. It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So what you're going to start seeing is that Middle East start getting hot, and you have angels that are set up, all right, to do just that, to work there, to get it hot. All right. So it can come in. I'm coming in hot. All right. It's another inside joke. But Revelation 9, verse I'll start at 12, and it says here, One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Because when you read from verse 1 to verse 11, it's going into World War One. Okay, so after World War One, John says, well, one world war, all right, is past. Because when you say one woe is past, behold, there come two woes more hereafter. All right, these three woes would have to be on the same category in the sense that these wouldn't be minor wars. All right, these would be major wars on the scale of a world war. Okay, it says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, all right, or the power, saying to the sixth angel, which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. All right, and the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. So you have angels over there, okay, in the river Euphrates, all right, in that Middle East, in that area, all right, and they're set up there to cause certain events and certain actions to take place that will lead to the destruction, the slaying of the third part of men, which starts with Esau and his power structure, but you also gonna have wicked Israelites as well. Okay, so now let's go, because that's what all this is gonna lead to. All right, we're gonna witness the beginning, the bringing in or the ushering in, literally, of the beast system. We're gonna witness it for however long has it set up, and then we're actually gonna witness its collapse, its downfall, and its downfall or its collapse is gonna be the beginning, all right, of the beast system. We're gonna see it, but as the beast system is ending or it's leaving, we're gonna see that through the ushering in of that final World War III, that destruction. Okay, so one leads into another, because as the way this system is gonna go down is gonna be by that destruction through World War III and the Lord's return via the laser beams from the chariots. See, so as this prophecy is ending, is going to be leading into the next prophecy, because the judgment for taking the mark, as it says in Revelation 14, is that you're going to burn in that thermonuclear heat, that fire. See, so the mark is going to come. People going to take it. Some people are not. You know, different things are going to happen. Society is going to be very, very different for a while, for a time period. All right. But that society is going to be brought down, as it says in Job 20. Okay, the Lord is going to, you know, as this devil is about to fill his belly, about to reach the completion of his new world order, then the Lord is going to strike him through. So then you're going to see that the missiles fly, and that's going to fulfill Revelation 14 into the judgment. But it's also going to be the destruction of this beast system. All right, but also the fulfillment of that World War III prophecy. All right, so we're at that point where we're seeing, and that's why I said the beast is moving, because we're at this point right here, Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life onto the image of the beast. See, we've been living, all right, in a beast system, okay, but what we're seeing is the image is getting clearer and clearer and clearer, because the image is the system. All right, and what is it an image of? It's an image of the first beast, which is the ancient pagan Roman way of doing things. And if you pay close attention, in this world today, it's like ancient Rome, modernized. See, the buildings, the way things are done, it goes back to Rome. It's just done with different, some of them are done with different terminology. All right, you call these stadiums, right? You know, basketball court and all that. Back then, amphitheaters, you know, and so on and so forth. All right, so it's called different things, and it's used it's more technologicalized, but it's still the same system. All right, so what we're seeing now is the image getting clearer and clearer. All right, because we're starting to see that full image. You know, they had to first condition the minds of the people, but slowly but surely, as they use through gradualism, people are becoming more and more acceptant. Although you do have people that are resisting. All right, you have the docile ones that are just going with the flow. So it says, they had power to give life onto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So they set up the system, and then the system starts to run. Okay, so they want to give life to the system, but once that new world order, that beast system is set up, it's gonna run on its by itself. It's gonna run, and the system, the new way of doing things is gonna be, well, if you're not down with the system, then you gotta go. All right, they're not gonna need to say that anymore. The system itself is gonna be doing it. All right, and that's what we're seeing by everything being technologicalized, if that's a word. All right, and everything being moved to the digital world. They are giving life to that beast system. Okay, and they're trying to accomplish that agenda. All right, that's why they're having these different meetings and getting on that one accord. And then a part of that will be, well, now we have to get rid of people who are going to stand in the way of this. Okay, and we already know, Isaiah 59:19, amongst various other scriptures, that when they do, because who are the main threat? We're the main threat. So when they do try to come after us in the sense of getting rid of any opposition, well, guess what? Because the most dangerous thing isn't guns and physical attack. Not for them. All right, because they've been blessed with the sword. The most dangerous thing is information, perspective, control, which starts with the mind. But if we're out here setting people's minds free, that's a problem. They're trying to enslave your mind. We're trying to set your mind free. Okay? Via the scriptures, via the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So that's a problem. So what? They want to come after us, but the Lord said, you're not going to be able to touch us. Okay? So we're going to be immune. We're going to be living in this beast system, but we're going to be immune. The system says, well, if you're not down with this system, you got to die. Well, the Lord says, well, unless I want you to be a martyr, no, you're fine. The system says, well, if you're not down with the system, you can't eat. The Lord says, nah, you good. You can eat. All right. And that's like it says in 2 Ezra 16, then shall they be known, then shall they be known who are my chosen. All right. And then it goes into verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So you see in verse 15, they first have to give life to the image of the beast, meaning they have to set up that system, and the system has to run fully. Okay. And then they initiate you into the system. They make you a part of it. All right. With that mark, so that you can be recognized by the system. Okay. And you can be a part of the system. So you have smartphones, smart TVs, smart cars, smart buildings, smart cities, and smart people. Okay. And all of them are connected through technology. Okay. So that mark is going to connect you to this system. That's how you're going to function in this system. Everything is going to require the mark. All right. That's the key, the initiation to this image, this system. And that's what we're seeing the world headed towards very quickly. See, if you picture one city that's normal and another city that's a smart city. And everybody's been living in a normal city for a long time, and people like it that way. They're comfortable. Now, these group of people say, no, well, we want you to all come and live in the smart city. And people are saying, well, I don't want your smart city. I'm good where I'm at. They could wait till eventually people start saying, hey, maybe we should try it out and all that, but they don't want to do that. So what can you do? Well, all right, you don't want to come to the smart city? That's cool. I'm not going to force you. And then they burn down your city. Without you, well, it wasn't us. I don't know what happened. Now, guess what? If you don't have any city, all of a sudden you lose that option, right? So any city is a good city at this point. So wait, where are you at? You find yourself in a smart city, okay? Because they did away with the old way of doing things. And they said, now the only city that's there, you don't have an option. The only city that's there is a smart city. So if you want to live in a city, well, where are you going to go? And that's what they're going to do. All right, or that's what they are doing through these different events. We just witnessed an event this past year, which was an example of them, lighting a fire to the old city. And in turn, what do you have? It leads people to the new normal or the new city. Okay. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so I'm going to end it here. Okay, Lord willing, that was edifying unto the elect. Keep your eyes open, man, because they are definitely moving. And pursuant to Revelation 12 and 12 is because they have a short time. All right, so prophecies, all right, are unfolding before our face, and it's about to get intense. So stay in the spirit, all right, stay praying constantly, all right, and stay watching, all right, remain circumspect. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, and Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.